What's up, everybody? I'm your Captain Zanzibar Bagel Pants, and today we'll be crapping on this tier list. I can't wait. This is my real name, by the way. Captain is my first name. Zanzibar Bagel Pants is my last name. So I found this tier list. That's not your name. I found this tier list on Reddit, and for the most part, like, a lot of it is in good spots, like it should be. But some of the stuff is in, like, really weird spots. So if there's, like, one tier up or down, like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that should be just slightly lower a tiny bit. We'll be kind of like, okay, that's okay. That's in a good spot. But like I said, some of them are, like, in really weird spots. So this is posted by One Hell of a Noob. They're really, actually, I don't think they're that newbie. So I think they're at a decent level that they should know what, like, they've done content and stuff like that. I believe it's a player from Finland who has, like, a double ragdoll situation going on. Not good origin. Not even just one ragdoll, double ragdoll. Where'd they put ragdoll on this? Okay, so ragdoll is double S. Usually I see ragdoll triple S on these lists. But anyway, that's just some background. I believe that's the situation as far as the person that's posting this, but they're not like a low-level player anyway. I don't know how high level they are, but they're at least like a mid-game. So anyway, also, like, I know what it's like to get crapped on the internet, so I'll try to not crap too much. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is in good spots, but let's take a look. I got it. This is in Photoshop too. I'm all ready to mark up on this. All ready to mark up on this list. But, like, some of them, like, I'm sure some of you guys already see, like, some of the things are in some weird spots. Oh, that's too zoomed in. So let's start at the should we start at the top or the bottom? The top is fairly straightforward. So we have you guys can see that, right? SS, triple S, double S, etc., etc., etc. So triple S, Hathor, Gianna, Nephthys. You could argue, like, some people put Artemiel in triple S. Some people, can't even see that. Some people put Artemiel in triple S. Some people put, like, Gen in triple S, Ragdoll Pater in triple S, Yenhong Vivachel. Like, so, I mean, you could argue that some of those could be triple S. You could argue that some of those could be double S. Tiana's not really a triple S unit, but for the most part, those are fairly okay. I like how they're a Ragdoll user, and they're like, Ragdoll's not that good. I think they actually posted, they're like, Ragdoll's easily countered by Vertiheal. I'm like, I wouldn't say easily countered by Vertiheal. Ragdoll still has one of the best win rates in all of RTA. He's still the bane of my existence in RTA. When I see a Ragdoll, I'm like, okay, so I'm definitely banning that. What am I playing against? Excuse me. So yeah, I personally like Ragdoll a little bit higher, but I can understand if other people disagree. They're like, oh, it's not that hard to deal with. Because, I mean, maybe it's just a personal thing that I don't. Also, the Artemiel, for me, like, it changes when you have the units. When you have the units, they seem like they're not as strong because you're used to the people that can effectively counter you, and you're like, oh man, this isn't as OP as I thought it was, right? So you like try to, like, explain to people, you're like, no, this is how to counter it. It's not as strong as you think it is. But the comps that I usually bring are heavily countered by Ragdoll. So just FYI, if you guys want to beat me in RTA, just pick Ragdoll. Easy. Lydia, I feel, is a little bit, little high, though. Can we see that? Yeah, you can see that. Lydia, I feel, is a little bit high. As far as S rank is concerned, Celia's not any higher than that. Daphnis, it's really funny to see Daphnis at S rank. I'm not sure. We'll see how the meta shifts, because Daphnis just came out. Like, didn't just come out. Daphnis just got buffed. So we'll see if he stays as a very, very meta-relevant pick, or if people are just countering him with other stuff. Because you can basically just counter him with, like, he's basically just a single target. Also, why is Daphnis up here, but Oberon is one tier down? I'll wait for a response from that. Why is Daphnis up here, but Oberon is one tier down? I feel like there wasn't too much thought put into why that one was there. Hairtight, I feel like, is kind of counterable. He's basically, you could CC him, but this should not be that high. He's a little bit better than Dark Ninja. he's not like super insane OP. But yeah, I'm glad someone puts her high on the tier list. Someone gives her the appreciation that she deserves. She's not that high though. She's not as good as the other stuff. She's good. She's usable, but not as super crazy meta. Everything else is, I would put him a little bit down as well. The thing is, like, I know he seems like he's very similar to Hathor, but just the fact that Hathor has a strip, and also Hathor has attack age reduction, which is big. The water monkey, because I'm just saying, out of someone that uses them, out of someone that uses light monkey, uses water monkey, the water monkey is just a little bit more usability than the light monkey. So the light monkey should just be a little bit. I said I wasn't going to critique too much down. Triton just got a buff. Tianlang just got a buff. It's kind of hard to see where exactly. We'll see as more people are using them as the season progresses. I mean, the season's close to being over, though, isn't it? I feel like the season's close to being over. So we'll see. It's kind of early to take these things that just got buffed and say where they are in the tier list, because people are... Like, Daphnis is being used a lot. Some of these things are being used a little bit more because they're buffed and we want to see. But people, it takes people a little bit to come up with these different counters to them. Like, to realize what the counters are. I'm just surprised to see, like, Daphnis over Oberon, right? And then even one tier down is the Odin. I feel like the Oberon would still be higher, right? But anyway, I feel like Asima's a little bit high, but I mean, again, we'll have to see some more Asima gameplay. But I feel like she's maybe one tier, should be one tier lower. As far as A is concerned, yeah, I feel like this stuff. Also, I don't know. This LNO is really, really strong based on what you bring her in with, but for the most part, things are not in too crazy spots. This should be lower. Alicia's not. This should be lower. This should be higher. This should be... Let me change it to green. This should be higher. Based on the usability of it. Those should be at least higher. I don't think that something like Ciara and Rocky should be on the same... Ciara's got a speed lead, and she also has ignore defense, which is really good against some of the best units in the game. Rocky's more like a fifth pick. She's like a counter to things. I don't know. Now I'm nitpicking too much. They're not in that crazy spots. I think I like Sekhmet here. Some people are going to say she's not that. They're like, oh, they're just used to Sekhmet not being as useful because they haven't been using her, and she keeps getting buffed. And people are like, oh, she's not good. Like, well, are you trying her? Because she's pretty good. She's not gonna lie, she's pretty good. Also, I feel like I really want to Devilmon my Sekhmet. I got a Sekhmet, by the way. I got it like a month ago, 2 months. Maybe it was probably 2 months ago by now. Oh my god, I got a Sekhmet on my main. I kind of want to, like, every time she gets a little bit, like I could see the usability of like a Swift Sekhmet. Oh my god. Because she just keeps stripping and resetting. It's like crazy at this point. Okay, anyway. I know some people don't like Sekhmet, but I just think that they're not using. Sean, I actually like Sean here. I like Sean here because here's one of the things with the Light Chimera and also the Wind Chimera. Which Wind Chimera, definitely, I know you can't, you actually can't see it. This needs to be higher. This needs to be, there's people using it in like high level gameplay. The thing with it though, is you can be kind of flexible in how you're going to use it. The Wind Chimera and the Light Chimera are, when you open, you can either cleave or you can CC, and your opponent doesn't know which skill you want to use. Like, okay, well, I can protect myself against getting CC'd. Then you just cleave them. Well, I can protect myself from getting cleaved. Well, then you just CC them. So you kind of have that flexibility. I think it's really, really great flexibility. And I think the people aren't using... I mean, he's got low base speed, though. That's one of the things. But I think people aren't appreciating... I know YDCV appreciates the Light Chimera. YDCV's been like, yes, every pick. Like, that's one of the units that I want them... I got enough toys. I got enough Light Dark toys. But, yeah, that's one of the units that I think is really nice to see up there. I think he's underrated. A few things. This Light Druid... Actually, you know what? The Light Druid's in a decent spot. I mean, he could even be higher. The Light Druid is so underrated, too. Like, I have that on my Europe server account. I'm like, he strips and CCs. If you don't need the strip, he still CCs. Strips and CCs. Like, oh my god, he's so good. He's underrated unit. I kind of feel like he might be a little bit better than the Fire Druid, though. And the Dark Monkey. Just because he's got that, I really value those strips. Juno is less relevant now, I think. Based on, I mean, you could argue that she's A+. Kinda. But there's just so many things that counter Juno. Like, especially like the Verti-Heal and the Ajir. So Ajir basically makes Juno his little, B word. This Josephine needs to definitely be... Definitely. Josephine needs to be higher. He needs to be lower. He needs... Who's using the Dark Paladin? I mean, like, I get that the Dark Paladin can be used as, like, a bruiser unit. But how are you going to say the Dark Paladin and Josephine are at the same... They're not even, like, 1 tier off. They're, like, 2 tiers off at least. Like, the Dark Paladin isn't unusable. It's just... the difference between Josephine is such a meta-relevant unit. We have a CC meta. Josephine is so meta. Josephine, I mean, you can almost pick her in, like, every match. Because everything that people use has some kind of CC. If you have, like, even if you're, like, using Verti-Heal, Perna, Diana, like, they have CC on them. So, you're still going to be proccing Josephine's passive every so often with something like that. You can almost pick her in every single match. You'd be... she's just so good. She's just so good. She's just so good. Anyway, for the most part, I guess not really too much complaints about that. Let's go into the A tier. So the A tier is, you guys see what the A tier is now, right? Bulwark and Han in the same... Oh, no. Hold on. I'm on red. Yeah. Bulwark up there. I like Beth. I mean, you see some of these things are kind of like in weird, like some of these things just don't make any sense. Like the Odin and Leica being on the same tier. Like Samoth is kind of, Vanessa's kind of outweighs Samoth. Samoth is a great counter to like twins and stuff like that and cleaves. Molong is kind of nice, but of course after the nerf he kind of took a hit. Kind of. Fire Monkey is less useful now because of Water Monkey and Ajir. Leica's too high, though. Leica's too high. I feel like Isis is really good. Like, I know she's really good. But every time I talk to people about Isis and RTA, like, you don't see her that much. And every time I talk to people about her, they're like, oh, it's just Hathor's better. It's like... okay, but because Isis doesn't do damage, although Hathor doesn't do damage either. But I don't know. I just feel like Isis is way better than people give her credit for in RTA. But I can't argue too much with the meta. Like personally, on a tier list for me, I would say like Isis would be way higher. But I'm looking at the RTA meta, and Isis isn't being used as much as other things are. So I can't argue too much with the usability of certain units. Jean, of course, dropped because of the Verti-Heal. And because people were just using other counters, like people were like, oh, we're going to build the Water Mermaid and stuff like that. Water Mermaid's a great Gianna counter. But a lot of people just use Verti-Heal now to counter the Jeans. With so much turn cycling on their team. And also Fran. Fran, very relevant. Wind Panda. I know a lot of people don't really use him too much this season. I still feel like he's a good unit, though. I feel like he's a little bit... especially against AoEs. Especially when your opponent is bringing AoE units. Like that do damage. I like the Wind Panda. I feel like a few of these units should be a little bit higher, though. If you look at things like this and this, they shouldn't be on the same level as Zerath. This has really good turn cycling, this Light Horus. And if you even see the current rank 2 is using him very heavily, the Light Horus. Of course, you don't see him as much as other things, because not everyone has him. but he's got a speed lead. He's got a lot of turn cycling. And then the Wind Druid is just a nice cleave counter. Overall, he just does so many things. So you actually see the Wind Druid a decent amount. You don't see Sylvia that much. I'm actually surprised that you don't see Sylvia that much. I can't really argue that she should be higher in the tier list. I feel like she should, but based on the actual usability of certain units, I really can't argue that she should be higher in the tier list. So, Odin, I feel like you see him quite a decent amount, though. He doesn't... This whole Japanese cleave thing, you see Odin a lot in the Japanese cleaves, but I feel like Isis and Sylvia should be higher. But I'm not gonna argue too much with that because, of course, usability but if we're talking about usability, though, then you see Odin picked more. But definitely Bulwark should be higher than Odin. And I feel like Bulwark should be S. Bulwark should be in the S tier. You just with the amount of people that are using him. What is an A minus? A minus is the Annabelle, right? So what is an A minus? I feel like Annabelle's good. I know Annabelle's good. She's not as relevant, but she's still good. Cadiz, I can see him being an A minus. Chiwu actually needs to be higher. People are realizing how good Chiwu is, and they're using him. A lot of Europe players actually. Which this was based on this players from Europe, so you should know that. You should know that. Jaeger is okay. A couple things though. Jaeger and Chao. Jaeger should be higher than Chao. The Kraka, based on personal preference, I guess. But you have... The Amelia even is higher than A+. She should be higher than A+. And then also the light one is very similar to Amelia. Even if a lot of people are like, no, she shouldn't be. She's got the crit resist. She shouldn't be as high as Amelia because Amelia is better because defense buff. Even if you put her one tier below Amelia, and also there's a crit resist that's kind of nice against those Vertihills and Dianas. You don't think so? I think so. But even so, she should be higher. Even so, she should still be higher. This Jameer is actually slightly underrated, though. He's a little too low. Water Chimera needs to be a little bit down. And Wind Monkey needs to be a little bit up, actually. And also, this Pungbek is not. Like, this is... There, you actually see the Wind Monkey being used in the meta against Ajir, against Diana. You even see, like, top 100 players using Wind Monkey. Did I say Water Monkey? Wind Monkey. Pungbek is really not too much of a thing. Like, I mean, I've used Pungbek, but it's not really that. It's not really a thing. The Han should be lower. Okay, so Han and Theomars. Han and Theomars are very similar. I feel like they should be on the same, possibly, level. Unless you have Gianna, right? That kind of changes things. Although the Dark Brownie and the Dark Bomber. I'm getting into nitpicking now. I said I wasn't going to nitpick. You actually see... You've been seeing him used more. Light Occult. I feel like Light Occult Girl's not bad. I personally would put her higher on the list. Jara, I would put lower on the list. I'm sorry, Jara owners. Jara owners will agree with me, actually. Jara owners will be like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you look at... Okay, first off, not that many people have Jara. Compared to, like, regular Element Nat 5s. But the people that have Jara are not picking them in RTA. At any level. It's, like, just not picked that much in RTA. I like, he can counter certain things, but, like, you would just pick other stuff. For the most part, you would just pick other stuff. Lagmaron. I don't know if the person that made this list realizes how big Lagmaron, Poseidon, and Chiwu have gotten. Especially with, like, Europe players. Which is kind of funny, because, again, like I said, the Europe... the person that made this is from Finland, I think. So I don't think they have been paying attention to how much these things have actually been used. This Dark Pony should be higher. some of these things, like, I kind of want to argue that they should be higher or lower as well. Grogan is not really that big of a thing. Akroma is kind of like a 5th pick sometimes. Charlotte is kind of underrated. I feel like Charlotte's underrated, but there's a lot of strong fire units in the meta currently. So I can understand that. Dark Unicorn still, it's not a, it's kind of like a late pick situation, but she's actually not as, some people don't use her, but I mean, she's never like a terrible pick. Like, no matter what, you can use her in some aspect. She's never really like a terrible pick though. I feel like people are not rating, like I have her, she's better than people realize. But yeah, the Lagmar and Shiwu and Poseidon, there's a bunch of people that are cleaving with those units and doing really well, actually. I feel like that Chiwu's got the speed lead, where it comes to like this dark Pioneer as well, isn't kind of lacks because of the lack of the speed lead. Do you feel like he should have a speed lead? I feel like he should have like, because I mean he's similar to Chiwu. He steals things. He steals the buffs, but I feel like he should be just like, you should look at him and Chiwu and not be like, one's better in one situation, one's better in another situation. Should be like, nah, Dark Pioneer is just a little bit better overall. He should be. I feel like he needs like some kind of, what is his leader skill? I don't even know what his leader skill is. Defense? Accuracy? I forgot. So this girl, I actually think, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make her higher. Why would you pick her instead of Fran? A little bit better speed lead? For the most part, you pick Fran. Fran makes Dark Sky Dancer not that. I'm not saying she should be higher or lower in the tier list. I'm just saying, like, it's kind of funny how, like, Fran makes the Dark Sky Dancer not very exciting. For arena offense, Dark Sky Dancer is great. Like, for arena offense, I would probably pick Dark Sky Dancer, especially against the Light Liches. But for RTA, I would pick Fran. For RTA, Fran's just, like, several tiers higher. Not as good of a speed lead, but several tiers higher. What do we have as far as this is concerned? These are all not really too great. Brandy, I feel like, could be up a little bit. For the most part. She got a buff, though. I feel like we'll see some more of her, but I don't know how much. This should be higher. This should be higher. Veramos is kind of a counter pick, but a lot of people are just picking other things. Maybe he should be like a tier higher or so. These last ones, you see a lot of Beast Monks down. I feel like he should be higher. I feel like he could even be higher. You could even, Britesh is not even that bad. Britesh is not that bad. I really wouldn't use Chandra and Shazam. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, like, I feel like a lot of people make tier lists and then, like, don't take a lot of stuff into account. Like, even, so, like, I could nitpick more on a lot of this other stuff, but, Sigmaris versus Water Chimera. There's two tiers, D and, oh, A minus, hold on. There's several tiers difference. Several tiers difference. Sigmaris, AoE freeze, attack break. CC on all 3 skills. Water Chimera, big single target damage for skill 2, but so does Sigmaris. AoE, so does Sigmaris. Why is Sigmaris 3 levels lower? I think maybe it's because they were like, oh, I saw another tier list from several seasons ago that had Sigmaris lower than the Water Chimera. Like, the Water Chimera's got the... I just feel like the Sigmaris versus Water Chimera. I feel like Sigmaris is actually not as bad as people are giving him the credit for. I feel like I would probably want to pick Sigmaris over the Water Chimera. I know I'm crazy, but think about the things that you pick into CC. Like if you pick into Hathor, what are you picking into Hathor? You're picking like Fire Monkey. You're picking Rakuni. You're picking Josephine. You're picking Juno. Well, I mean, Sigmaris is CC too, and Sigmaris is also strong against the Fire Monkey because it has the attack break as well. So I kind of think it would be really funny to see Sigmaris in RTA a little bit more. I don't know. I feel like he's not a D on the list. You know what I mean? But these other units, I've actually seen some of these units being the Camila at the very both. There's two Camilas here. Both Camilas should be a little bit higher on the list. Camila's not a great RTA pick. Don't get me wrong. Camila's not a top tier RTA pick, but it's at least a counter to things. So, and then these ones, at least they were honest. They had no idea how good they were. Of course, a lot of things. The Dark Cannon Girl I have no experience with. So honestly, I have kind of no idea as well, because I've never ever used the Dark Cannon Girl before. So, there's players though using this this unit. I know 30N Legacy uses her a decent amount. There's like G2, G3 players that are using her though. She's not that bad. Trinity is pretty decent in Cleaves. You don't really see the Dark Anubis though very much. Dark Anubis would be very low on the tier list. Nyx would be maybe somewhere around A+. General area, people could argue, but general area, I feel like Trinity would probably be A+ area. Fire Paladin would be around A+ area. Yeah, around those areas. For the most part, I mean, like, 3/4 of this stuff is in good spots. There's just like things that I would personally change. I know like the Rakan, I put the thing on Rakan. People are gonna be like, Rakan and Brandia. They were actually used. Rakan and Brandia. Brandia's got a good, a really good leader skill. HP 44% leader skill. She's got big damage, even through shields and things. She's got big damage with skill 3. She also has, it's a 2-turn CC, right? And she's strong against, think about it this way, like, she's strong against a lot of different, we're in a lot of strong win units in the meta, right? Hathor, Diana, Ganymede, etc., etc. So, Brandia has a defense break skill 1. She's got attack break, and she's got... just Brandia is a little bit better than people give her credit for in the RTA. Even though she's generally used in, like, Rift Beasts, she can be decent in RTA in different situations. Lights the Emperor at the very least. He's got silence, he's got invincibility, he's got invincibility, he's got immunity, and he's got a speed lead. So, the Lights the Emperor is also underrated. That Lagmaron should be several tiers higher though. Lagmaron should be like A+. A+, based on his flexibility, and he should be definitely higher than the Water Chimera. So, and also based on the usability, based on the amount of people that are using some of these units, they should be higher or lower. I feel like some of the other ones I could like critique more, but I don't want to. I was trying to not nitpick too much though. Anyway, but I wound up just nitpicking a whole bunch. Anyway, guys, what do you think? What is Bagel wrong about? What is Bagel? No, Bagel, this shouldn't be here, that shouldn't be there. I mean, you kind of argue like one tier up or down for like a decent handful of these units. But for the most part, a lot of them are in decent spots. There's just a few that I was like, what? Why are they that low? Why are they that? Because some of them I've been seeing a lot of gameplay. If you guys have been keeping track of the different high-level stuff that's been used, a lot of them have been seeing a decent amount of gameplay. So anyway, guys, and then some of these, like, we'll see based on the amount of, if their usability drops throughout the rest of the season or not, because we're fresh off a balance patch, so we'll see if things change. Anyway, guys, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you as always in the next one.